if you've got redness, rosacea or sensitivity and you're just figuring out how to manage it, this video is for you. I'm Rose, I'm 36 and I was diagnosed with rosacea 8 years ago. This is going to be the first of a 4-part series where I break down some of the most important things that I think it's helpful to remember when you're managing your own redness and sensitive skin and rosacea if you also have that. To tell you a little bit about me, since I was diagnosed 8 years ago, I've written extensively about rosacea, and in order to do that, I have to corroborate any arguments that I'm trying to make or facts that I want to share with consultant dermatologists. So the reason I enjoy making these videos is through work, I get to speak to consultant dermatologists that would probably be out of my price budget ordinarily. And so I just think if I've had the expert advice from them, I'd love to share that with as many people far and wide. And hopefully I can be a bit of a middle ground for you to also hear from those experts. And then my real goal with these videos is that you hear my experience, hear what's working for me or maybe isn't, keep in mind those expert tips and then use that to do your own research and ideally have a one-to-one yourself to look at your skin. Because something I always want to make really clear whenever I make a rosacea video is that what works for me won't necessarily work for you. We've all got really different skin. There are also 4 different types of rosacea, for example. I have 2 of them. And so what works for one type might be different for another type. So really the best thing you can do to give your skin the best chance is see an expert one-on-one. But in the interim, what I want to do in these videos is I was going through some of the things I've written about rosacea over the years, and on British Vogue online, it's all free to read. I've written 4 features over the years. The first one was like a beginner's guide to rosacea, which is what this video is going to be about. The second one was once you're kind of happy with your beginner's routine, skincare wise, habits wise, how do you add extra ingredients in that you might want? So for example, things like if you want a healthy aging element to your skincare routine, maybe you want to use something like vitamin C if you live in a city and experience lots of pollution, things like that. Those additional steps, we talk about those in the second feature. The third one, I'm having to recap here, I've got the website next to me to remind me, please bear with me. The third one is actually really important. Throughout any videos I make about rosacea, I always say speak to an expert one-on-one, and there are lots of different ways to do that, which we'll talk about in the third video. But the great thing is that in recent years, it's not only going via your GP that is the option to you. There are so many consultant derms now that have various online services. So if you're time poor, if you're budget restricted, there are different ways that you can take photos of your skin, upload them online and seek guidance. So we'll go into those. And then the last one, I never made a video about this feature. It went live on the 31st of January of this year. It's called I Have Rosacea, Here's How I Ate My Way to Better Skin. Now, I very specifically never touched on this one because the thing with making videos online is there is no nuance sometimes. Like, I'm talking into my iPhone in my living room as we speak. I know my intentions, but I am just talking into a void. So sometimes I'll see a comment section and think, how has that been so misconstrued? That's not what I said, or that's not what I meant. And when I wrote that piece was a very personal first-person piece about how I had basically had some gut testing done, discovered that I had SIBO, made some dietary changes to treat the SIBO, and as a result, I saw a difference in my skin. Now, that is all absolutely true, and that's something I'll touch on in that video. But something I think happens so often, in particular when it comes to rosacea, is that people will say, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, you're obviously drinking too much, you're obviously eating too much sugar. There can be so much blame and nonsense put onto people, and I really don't want that piece to do that, because Maybe you've just got a chronic skin condition that 1 in 10 people are known to have. Like maybe you haven't done something horribly wrong. Maybe it's just quite frequently occurring. And what we can do is do everything we can to keep it nice and calm. And the goal here is to manage it. Now, I should have said earlier than 5 minutes in, I always try and lead with this. The lovely thing I can tell you as someone that has spoken to expert after expert is all of them tell me there is so much you can do to manage this. Like if you are someone that's maybe, I often speak to people that perhaps have just developed rosacea out of nowhere, or they have really exacerbated redness out of nowhere and they're really struggling. Please don't worry. All of these expert dermatologists have all told me over the years there's so much you can do to bring your skin back to calm again. It's just a case of making a few tweaks and changes and making the ones that are going to be right for you. That might take a bit of trial and error, but initially, video 1 that we're starting 6 minutes in, if you have just figured out that you have redness or rosacea, this one is for you. The first thing I want you to do is remember that there are so many experts that have been treating this for years. I'm not going to lie, when you first Google it, it's a bit daunting. It says it is incurable, it's chronic, it's this, it's that. All of those things can be true, but at the same time, it can also be true that even though there's no cure for it, there is so much you can do to drastically reduce it. And I always use the example that like every single day, we brush our teeth twice a day. We have to do that twice a day, every day. It's just part of our maintenance and routine, and we're not freaking out about that. And your skin is a little bit like that. It's just going to be one of those things that maybe you care for a little bit more than you would have if you didn't have this. And that's okay, it's manageable. I wear contact lenses every day, I can't see without them. They're just part of my normal routine now. There are things that are going to become part of your normal routine that they might be a change at first, but it's all going to be okay. It really is. And it's not the most linear journey sometimes figuring out what works, but you will figure out what works. So to start off, I tell you what, I'll go through what happened when I was first diagnosed and the changes I made and where we're at to now. So, in fact, you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm aware I've got like a full face of makeup on. Over this part of the video, I'm going to just put some clips of my face today with no makeup on. Sometimes it's a bit more flared up, other times it's a bit calmer. It really varies, but this is what I was working with today. When I was first diagnosed with rosacea at 28, I had always had red skin from as long as I can remember, and like childhood photos had redness in them, and that's just what my skin looked like. I'm from, I've got an Irish mum and dad, big Irish family, so like in Celtic skins, I think redness is actually just a lot more prominent, and it's all I saw as well. Like lots of my family kind of have redness. It was just completely normal to me. So basically, I saw a consultant dermatologist through work when I was 28 who said, yeah, you've got rosacea, you've got 2 types. Type 1, which causes persistent flushing in the skin, and that's the one that is kind of always on for me, I would say. And then type 2, which is pustules and texture. Now, over the years, I have personally learned that for me, using a prescription strength azelaic acid really targets my pustules, and so touch wood, at the moment, they're not so bad. The thing with rosacea is you can follow a routine to the letter. You can follow every rule in the rule book, and sometimes it's just going to flare up, and it is just one of those things. But for the most part, I know when in my everyday routine, I use my azelaic acid, but when I've really flared up, that will be the thing that just brings everything back to balance. So anyway, found out I had rosacea. The derm says, right, I want you on a really simple routine. A cream cleanser to take your makeup off and everything, really gentle. A really gentle moisturiser, something that is designed to like be packed with ceramides, strengthen the skin barrier, very buttery, rich in my case because I'm quite dry, but you can also get more lightweight moisturisers, let's say if you were oily, that would deliver all of the same benefits but feel more light on your skin. Use an SPF 50 every single day, because the thing is, We know that SPF 50 is going to be great for protecting our skin from the sun anyway, but when it comes to rosacea, the sun is actually one of the main triggers for it. So by using your SPF every day, you are preventing the red flare up, which is always going to be lovely. I personally often use the same day cream and night cream because I am using my SPF separately. But for the initial stages, that was about it. Don't be messing about with loads of steps. Keep it really simple. In the very early days, they said to me, don't use any cloths or muslin cloths or anything to remove your makeup. Just use your hands so that it's gentler, your hands and water. And I followed that in the early days, had my prescription strength azelaic acid, and I saw a massive reduction really quickly. Now, as time has gone on, I'm just going to be really honest, I don't want to be up here being a martyr. I want to tell you the truth about what I use day to day. I remember at the time, loved a cleansing balm or a cleansing oil, that kind of thing, because I wear a lot of makeup. I haven't got much on today, but I love my bright colours, liner, lashes, everything. So I just like one cleanser that gets it all off really quickly. The cream will get it all off, but you're going to be there a lot longer. Whereas, with a balm or something, it just takes it off, and with your cloth. I didn't use that in the early days, and now there are loads of things like that I have reintroduced into my routine. If you're the person that I've aimed this video for, that is just at the beginning of your skin journey and a journey to reduce the redness, I'd hold off on that kind of thing for now, and that is advice that any derm has given me. The derms never recommend that you use things like that. Any derm over the years, and I've spoken to so many, and the great thing is they're all on social media now, so you can find them. Just to reel off a few, I feel like I've said that now, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to forget someone, but just a few. Dr. Justine from Tarrant Street Clinic, Dr. Emma Wedgeworth, Dr. Sam Bunting, Dr. Emma Craythorne from Clearer, incredible, Dr. Derek Phillips, Dr. Ifeoma Ejikeme, Dr. Zainab. These are all people that I have referenced in features over the years. Dr. Kemi, she's Dr. Fab on social media. There's too many. Dr. Christine, Dr. Soma, I'm going to stop. But this is the point. I've spoken to so many of them over the years. They will all say, if you've got rosacea, try and use a cream cleanser if you can. And they all actually will also say, cleansing's a really important step. It's one that if that is gentle enough, it sets the scene for everything to work a lot better. I'm panicking now, can I just say? I'm an anxious person, and I'm like, you've just reeled off a huge chunk of the dermatology community and lumped them all in that they've said this one quote. So take that with a pinch of salt. But basically the moral of the story is they would definitely all encourage you to simplify your routine when you're figuring your skin out. And then in time, for example, video 2, you can start slotting in other things that might be of use to you. I made a few little notes here on the side. I didn't want to make this video with loads of edits and things because I feel like with rosacea, sometimes you just want to chat, and that's what I want these videos to feel like. I just want you to know that someone else has managed the same symptoms that you have and is successfully doing so, touch wood, and it will be manageable. So I didn't want it to feel super choppy and stop-starty. Yes, so, when you're simplifying your routine, this was something that I was going to come on to now. So over the years, whenever I've made a video, I'm always really clear, and I want this to come across in a kind way. It's not me being horrible. I don't get into doing one-on-one guidance or one-on-one, can you offer some support with this, that, the other? The reason being is rosacea is a medical condition and I'm not medically qualified. And even if I was, I can't do that through a phone. What I really would love for you to gain from these videos is listen to me, consider me a bit of a starting point, take away anything that you think is helpful, and ultimately use anything that you hear as a starting point to figuring out what's going to work for you with a one-to-one consultant. There are many ways you can do that. You could go and see your GP. The other thing that is a lovely service that I'd really recommend, Boots have you with Dr. Justine Hextall, who is the loveliest consultant dermatologist. And also, another reason I really love Dr. Justine is she's very holistic in her approach. When she treats a rosacea patient, she will look at diet, lifestyle, skin, all of those factors, and really create something all-encompassing that's going to work. She has trained the pharmacists at Boots across the country so that they have more dermatologist-led advice. And Boots offer this free service, a skin check. It's not in every single branch, but it is in like a nationwide selection of branches. You can go in, speak to a pharmacist one-on-one, and they've been trained to give a slightly elevated service to suggest like a routine for you, tips to manage your skin condition, and essentially it's there to bridge a gap. If you're waiting on a GP appointment or you're waiting on a derm appointment, that you can speak to someone that is a medical professional to just have a bit more guidance. And having that one-on-one and someone look at your skin and consider all of your lifestyle factors is really, really important. Because, for example, when I say lifestyle factors, one of the reasons I wanted to do these videos, because I have made the same rosacea video, honestly, so many times over the years, and sometimes I think, is there any point making it again? But because it's coming into winter, the change in weather can have a huge impact on your skin, and that alone is enough to need to recap the basics or maybe make tweaks and changes. So it's things like the weather, the climate that you live in, your lifestyle, how much sleep you get. Are you a busy mom? Are you a carer for a family member that means you're more unragged? All of these things will be having an impact on your skin, and so having that one-to-one chat is so important. And that's why I'm not being horrible. I'm not best placed to give you that one-on-one. And another thing I'd written in my notes that I meant to tell you, sometimes in the comments someone will say, is that moisturiser water-based, or I have to avoid X ingredient, can you recommend something that avoids that? A really helpful website that I would recommend to you when you're at the beginning of your journey and figuring out what works for you and what doesn't is Inky Decoder. You can type in any product name, and if they haven't got the product, you can copy and paste the ingredients list. They will tell you what's in there, what isn't in there, and it gives you a really good idea of whether it's the kind of thing that would be appropriate for you to be using for your skin or not. But bearing in mind that this is going to sit in line with all of these features, I'm going to keep that video there short and sweet. Your beginner's guide is to say, please don't worry. I know it's easy to say, please don't worry if you've just been diagnosed with this, or you think you've got it, or you're experiencing redness. It's one of those things that affects so many people, and the experts out there know how to manage it, and they will find something that works for you. And in the meantime, you can have a look and find something great. Everyone has a different approach to how they like to manage their skin. Personally, from my perspective, I am someone that likes to follow consultant dermatologist advice. Not everyone is like that. Some people prefer to follow different methods and approaches, and your skin, your choice. You do what you would like. But for me and my content, just know that I like to be led by science and the dermatologists. And so that's where I will be sharing my research and findings from. And if that's not quite for you, that is absolutely okay. I'll kindly request that maybe this isn't the right page for you. I don't like getting into arguments with people just for the sake of it. So you can agree your thing and I'll believe my thing. And I know that I've got a really lovely community of trusted experts that have massively helped me over the years. And I've also spoken to lots of people that have felt massively helped by following guidance from these people that I might have shared. In terms of skincare recommendations, especially for a beginner, I just uploaded a video the other day, and I'll put a link to that in the comments section of this video. I'm going to share these across Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I would say the best place if you want like a cohesive list of rosacea videos is probably my YouTube page, because they're all in one playlist. Just type in my name there and you'll find me. Part 2 is going to be the one about how we slot in the active ingredients. I really hope this is going to be helpful, and above all, just please know you'll get this calmer, you'll get it under control, and you're going to find solutions that work. But anyway, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for part 2.